Hey everyone, Bill Benner from ScannerMAX here. Today we're going to be talking about how to actually drive galvos and galvo drivers, the servo drivers. You know, at Pangolin we make a variety of scanners, everything from the size of the tip of your finger all the way up to the size of almost the size of my fist. So we make a wide variety of laser scanners here. And laser scanners are something that's an important component in optical systems, but they're not taught in any school. And so that's the reason why I wrote this #1 best-selling book to help people to understand laser scanners and how they can be applied within product and how you can make a product using laser scanners. But the one thing that I don't talk about is actually how to drive the servo driver. And we have customers and university students coming to us and saying, hey, how do I drive this with LabView? How do I drive this with Python? And so I have Abdullah here. He's been with the company for more than a year. And Abdullah's really, his job has been as a roboticist to make the machines that make the machines. So, so that's what he's been doing for most of his time here at Pangolin. But we've got these customers coming to us. Abdullah has this experience with LabView and Python, so it was a natural fit for him to kind of take this on. So let me talk about what we're going to be talking about, and also lay some ground rules for these projects. So, as a hardware designer myself, one of the things I find very helpful is that the microprocessor company also gives you like a little development board, and they show, okay, here's some example peripherals, here's some example code snippets, but these by no means represent the whole product. It's as to say, this is what you're going to deliver. These serve as an example. This is a starting place, not an ending place. And likewise, the examples that we're going to be presenting today are not the ending place, this is the starting place. We are using a variety of hardware, and the hardware that we're choosing and demonstrating is that hardware that customers and university students have said, hey, can you give us an example with this hardware? Can you give us an example with this hardware? Can you give us an example with this hardware? In some cases, the hardware that they chose is really terrible, by the way. All right, but we're giving you an example with this hardware. It's terrible hardware, but we're giving you an example, right? The whole point is to say, here's an example. This is the starting point, not the ending point, right? So for example, under ordinary circumstances, you would want to drive the Mach DSP with a sample rate of somewhere between 50 and 100 kilohertz. And under ordinary circumstances, you would want an XY200 clock speed of something like 2 megahertz. The little Arduino example that we have is not capable of driving a clock speed of 2 megahertz. Okay, but the point is, this just to say, here it is, here's why XY200 works, here's how it works, here's what you do, here's the connection, and here's example code, right? So that's the point. It's just kind of put it out there, say, oh yeah, I get it, so that somebody can say, it's a lot easier, just like in the microprocessor case I said, it's a lot easier to start with a working example, even if it works terribly, than to just start with the microprocessor, say, here, you figure it all out, including the boot code and the initialization and all the peripherals and everything else. Starting from a known place is a great place, and that's what we're going to be presenting today. So without much further ado, I will pass it along to Abdullah, who's going to be your host for the rest of this session. He's going to be talking about a wide variety. Just to give you, to kind of sketch it out, Abdullah, can you let them know on the high level what the example, I know that there's Python, I know that there's LabView, but can you kind of sketch out what they're going to be seeing?
Yeah, so hi, I am Abdullah. We have different type of libraries. We have multiple examples for Python, LabView, and Arduino. In Python and LabView, we have examples for analog control, analog input for the Mach DSP. We have different examples for different DAQ brands. We are data acquisition systems. We use National Instruments, and we also test LabJab, which is one of the ones that our clients sometimes ask how to incorporate LabJab. In our examples, there is high level code and low level, so depending on how much you want to go into the details. We also have libraries for serial control for both of these languages, And also we have examples for the standard protocols of XY to 100 and SB4, which we implement in Arduino.
Yes, this video. So so that's great, Abdullah. Thank you for this. And actually, one last thing before we turn it around. All of this is available right now on our GitHub. Is that right?
Yes. So you can find these on our GitHub, and every one of the examples have a specific manual how you can actually implement these and follow step by step, even how to download all the necessary software libraries.
Right. Yeah. So so we hope that you find this interesting and enlightening. And if you have any questions, be sure to pass them along to support@scannermax.com. And without much further ado, I'll just turn it right over to Abdullah.